X-Men, Issue 4, Volume 2, January 1992. Jim Lee was the artist and John Byrne was the writer. Together they created one of the coolest X-Men villains in my opinion, in that of Omega Red. And it's time that we take a look at this amazing villain and fan cast him before he himself is cast in X-Men in the MCU. So you and I, let's take a journey together down the fan casting lane. Let's get it. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Nerd News, a show created for nerds by a nerd. And we're back with another fan casting X-Men episode, guys, and this time, yes, we're diving into a villain in that of Omega Red. I can't explain enough how much I love villains. If you've seen my other episodes, then you know I'm a villain fanatic. Because villains, let's face it, they have the best dialogue. It's true. So Omega Red, one of the reasons why I wanted to take a stab at fan casting this guy is because he is such a great character. In the animated show, they did an amazing job with that character. The comics, he was just this powerhouse, this amazing Russian villain. And you know, he hasn't really had that chance to shine at all on the big screen. But before we continue, guys, if this is your first time visiting my channel, I would greatly appreciate it if you just annihilated that like button and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that you can be notified of all things as I create them here in the laboratory. There was a little glimpse of him in the deleted scenes, if you will, in Deadpool 2. Now, I did talk about this in an episode. I think it was the very first X-Men fan casting that I did. I think. I don't know. I've done a lot of episodes. So now we fast forward to today, 2021, and let's say that Marvel has released a cast list, right, of what actors and actresses and characters are going to be in the new movie, and Omega Red is the main villain. What actor is going to play him? Well, that's where we come in, or I come in. I'm the only one here. I need more coffee. Alright, so the first actor on this list, he's not that well known of an actor, but he has some good movies under his belt. His films include National Treasure, great movie, Predators, Bad Boys 2, and everyone's favorite, Rollerball. No one really watched Rollerball, let's just be honest. And we're talking about actor Oleg Taktarov. We're talking about actor Oleg Taktarov. Now, Oleg was born in Russia, so that aspect of the character is already there, because I don't think you could really get an actor that can do a Russian accent very well. I want it to be authentic. Some actor specifically from Russia, which Oleg is. He's a very strong, very intimidating man. He's not a tall man. He's almost like Wolverine height, which is actually kind of cool. And the great thing about him is he has a background in fighting. And the thing about him is, yes, he's small, he's very stout though. Like I said, he's a fighter, but he has this look. He has these really bright blue eyes that are almost just, you know when you don't trust someone when you look at them? There's just something about him, it's just, he seems like a nice guy, but those eyes tell a different story, and I think that's perfect with a character that is physically going to be, he has a white face, really long blonde hair, the red armor, and so physically he looks menacing, but looking at his eyes, it's like looking at a shark's eyes, if that makes any sense. So Oleg, it's time for you to get the fitting for the costume, because you, my friend, are my Omega Red. Next, we're going to move on to an actor who also was born in Russia, who has some really fun credits under his belt. His films include Tenet, Six Underground with Ryan Reynolds, also The Hitman's Bodyguard with Ryan Reynolds, and everyone's favorite and most hated show, Game of Thrones. And I'm talking about actor Yuri Kolokoliakov. Now, looking at Yuri, you wouldn't get the feeling that he is a stage performer, because his background is in stage acting, which is fantastic. So standing at 6'5", he's already impressive enough to fill out that suit of Omega Red. Now, Yuri has that Bond villain type feel to me. Does it make sense? Because he's bald. He's, like I said, a very big, large man, and he carries himself with this like arrogance that's fantastic for a villain. I mean, you want a villain who's believable, physically demanding, and also just mentally there with you. You know what I mean? Like he's not a dumb villain that monologues and tells you his plan. He just does it. And his role in Game of Thrones was a good example of that. He was full of scars, and he was very intimidating. It was like one of those things where when he went up against someone, you feared for the other person. And that is exactly what you need in Omega Red. So Yuri, it's time to bring all that fear and all that aggression out on the X-Men because you are my Omega Red. So next we're going to move on to an actor who's a little bit older. He has about 72 films under his credit. That's impressive. Now some of the films you may know, some you may not. They include Puppet Master. It was a cool movie. You just watch it. Pee-wee's Big Top. Hello, Pee-wee. And the 1990 action smash hit with Dolph Lundgren, Dark Angel. Yeah, to be honest, I've only seen 2 of the films that I just read. I have no idea what that last one is, Dark Angel. I don't know. And we're talking about actor Matthias Hues. Now Matthias was born in Waltrop, Germany, and he also studies martial arts, so he really is a badass. He also stands at 6'5", at a whopping 250 pounds, and can move really, really quick for a man that size. So like I said, Matthias is a little older, but his background in martial arts helps him in these fight sequences. He knows how to take kicks and punches, and he understands that type of world. I'm not saying he's a stuntman, but he is a fighter before he was an actor. So therefore, whenever there's a fight sequence, obviously the tentacles are going to be all CG, and that's not a big deal. But when it comes to actual like punching and kicking, he can do those. And for an older actor who has a lot of movies under his belt, some aren't as, more well known than the others, something like this will help him get back to the A-list and get him good roles. Because I mean, who doesn't at this point as an actor want a piece of the Marvel pie? Do you know what I mean? Like I'll play Rogue, I don't care. I will do anything to be in a Marvel movie. But Matthias, I think it's time to step out of the shadows, my man. I think it's time to take your rightful place under the tentacle sun because you are my Omega Red. Well, my friends, that was it. I had a short list of actors just because I wanted to focus on actors that are specifically from Russia because I wanted to be authentic in this character. I want these actors to take this iconic role and make it their own because no one has really done it before. And it's about time that someone takes a stab at Omega Red. And before I let you guys go to whatever it is that you're doing, let's talk a little bit about that deleted scene in Deadpool 2, shall we? So he was originally supposed to be one of Wade's fellow inmates in the prison scene. He had a little bit of a scene where it's one of those things where it's like, oh my god, that's Omega Red, and that probably would have teased something down the road for the 3rd movie, depending on how that character was received. But obviously he was cut. And what I want to know, and what I want to ask you guys is, if they actually gave Omega Red a little tease at the end. Let's say after the credit, you got to see him look at the suit, cut back to him, he smiles, cut to black. Would you have liked that? Let me know in the comments below. And guys, if you need coffee, I suggest you get some. This is only my 2nd cup. Couldn't guess it, could you? Could you? Could you? Could you?